Thanks for joining me today. Tammy with Stampin' Savvy here with a little inspiration for your creative day. I'm here to introduce to you the new stamp pads that Stampin' Up is introducing come the new catalog that is effective June 1st. They have made some really exciting changes. Why did they make the changes in the first place? So Stampin' Up had a manufacturing mold that was getting ready to expire. So they had a decision to make whether to continue with it and renew it or to make some revisions. And they decided to go back to the drawing board and improve upon the design. So very exciting. So what I'm going to share with you is what's different and what's new about the pads. Comparing the old pads, these are the outgoing in colors that were introduced in 2016 that are retiring May 31st. If you like any of these, you want to get your orders in as soon as possible, they are only available until May 31st or when product sells out. So these are going out, and then these are the new in colors coming in. These are the 2018 through 2020 in colors that will supplement the 40 colors that are part of the major color collections. So you can notice some obvious differences. First one being how much more compact the new design is compared to the old design, primarily because now they stack. Really excited about this one. So not only is this going to save you a lot of space in storage, but it also will save you space in your work area. So for instance, if I'm working on a card and I've got 5 colors that I'm working with, they can just stack here and I take them out one at a time to work with. Really nice compared to having these kind of spread out all over your work area. The second thing I want to show you is, let's take this case and we'll compare it to this case. So size-wise, I want you to see that they're the same width, but the new case is a little bit shorter. The other thing is that this new case is a rectangle where the old case was rounded at the front and the back. But the nice feature is that the actual stamp pad area itself is pretty much the same. Now the old style stamp case, you pushed it open, rotated it back, slid it, and locked it. So it was a little bit confusing because you had to kind of keep track of the hinge points and sliding it back and forth. So let me show you how the new style pad opens. So much easier and less confusing. It opens just like a compact, and then it slides. That's all there is to it. Again, you just open it like a compact, lay it flat, slide it, and it locks in place. So there's only one hinge point, no going back and forth and trying to stay within the grooves in that track. Just really simple and easy. The other thing I want you to see is between the two cases, you notice the gap that you'll see here on both sides, and then look at the gap here. Much tighter fitting lid into the base. So what that's going to mean is a lot less re-inking of the pad, especially for those of us like myself that live in really dry climates. It should mean a lot less re-inking because you're going to have less ink evaporation. Outstanding feature. Now let's look at the labels that they've put on the pads. So on the new style, really nice big area where you've got your color, an icon here that states that it's an in color, and then you've got your names here. It still has the label on the front. In fact, let's turn it over. The old style pads had 4 labels. They had English and then 3 other languages. The new style pad has English, the 3 other languages, but they've added a 5th label here. And let me show you where that goes. So let's pop this open. it fits right here in the tray. Now, why is that important? So let me show you. Let's say that you're getting ready to stamp and you're working with 2 or 3 at the same time, and you've got your pads next to each other. Would you be able to tell which is which, what colors they are? No, not unless you actually lift up or look at your labels. So they've given us this visual cue right here. So you go to do your stamping, you're going to see that color right there in front of you to know whether you're inking the one that you want. Really, really helpful. Not only for personal use, but I'm really excited about that one for classes as well. Okay, so let's talk about the ink formula itself. And actually, let's open this one back up. And I'm going to show you, let's go ahead and ink this up, because not only did they change the case itself, but they've also improved upon the ink formula. They've made an improvement so that it lays nice and smooth on the stamp as well as on the paper. Now this is a solid image stamp. These can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but look how absolutely beautiful that lays over. And that's not even dried yet. Okay, so let's do one more. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I want to address a question that I get sometimes, which is, why does Stampin' Up! Design their pads the way they do? Why aren't they like everybody else's? And I think that's an excellent question. The reason being, because they're brilliant. But other than that, they're brilliant because they defy the laws of gravity. Actually, they work with the laws of gravity, I should say. The law of gravity is that everything that is up falls down, right? So what they've done is they've designed their stamp pads so that the actual pad itself, okay, always rests upside down. And that's so that gravity will pull that ink down so that it's going to rest at the top of the pad. So when you go to use your pad, the ink is always going to be on the surface. And you can always tell when somebody is new to Stampin' Up! Because they're used to the old pads. They're used to other manufacturers where the ink, where the pad rests this way and the ink falls to the bottom of the pad. And so you see them just pounding on it or really pushing hard on it. And that's something that you don't have to do with Stampin' Up! In fact, as I teach in my classes, it's just a simple tap, 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 stamp. That's all there is to it. You don't have to work it to get a really good inked impression. I love that. Makes it so much enjoyable as a stamper. So that's why Stampin' Up! Has a flip-top lid, is so that the ink always is stored with the surface of the pad facing down so that your ink falls to that surface and always lies there so that the ink is ready for you to use. Excellent, excellent feature. Okay, so let's talk about some of the similarities between the old pads and the new pads. Okay, so the finger grips that are on the side, they're a little bit different, but they are still there. This has an actual groove, if you can see that your fingers rest in, not only for doing this, but also for inking your pad to a stamp, which I want you to see that, open this one back up again, that they both are still a raised surface. So as far as being able to ink this way, not a problem. That continues to be the same. So you've got your grooves, raised pad is the same, and then you'll also notice that the foam style of the pad is the same as well. And the surface of the pad itself is actually virtually the same size. The primary difference is that in the old style pad, it's curved here, and in the new style pad, it's just a rectangle. So there's maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference right there. Virtually negligible. So same size pad, which is great because you'll notice that they were able to design it in such a smaller package. I mean, just look at the difference there in the height, the thickness. So much thinner to take up that much less space. Just really, really nice feature. Like that. So these are the new in colors. You will be able to get your hands on these effective May 1st. They are doing an early release for customers. So if you want to get the new in color collection, you will be able to get your hands on these in a bundle that saves you 10% effective May 1st, a whole month before the actual catalog is released. So if you're interested in that, you can shop through stampinsavvy.com. If this was helpful to you, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my blog at stampinsavvy.com. And I thank you for watching. And until next time, we'll see you then.